Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Southeast.
This long homestand at SunTrust Park continues here this afternoon. A day-night doubleheader as the Braves delve back into Eastern Division play. They're tied for first, and they've got the Miami Marlins in town. Game one of a four-game series. Hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson, Jeff Francoeur, Chip Carey. Welcome back to the ballpark, where Atlanta took care of business against the Milwaukee Brewers, taking 2 out of 3 and pulling to a tie with the Phillies atop the Eastern Division race. But fellas, today an exciting day in Atlanta history. Toussaint will make his Major League debut, the 12th different man to start a game for the Braves this year.
We've been all fired up about seeing Toukie. We couldn't wait for him to get to the big leagues, and he's worked steady progress up through the minor league system. Big guy, 6'3", 215, grew up in South Florida, and he has really changed the way he pitches. He's cut down on his walks. Good fastball, 3 solid pitches, Jeff. I can't wait to see him work.
Yeah, I think we've all been. This is kind of the last guy we've waited to come see up. And, you know, I like the fact that it's a day game. It's the Marlins. Sometimes it can be easy to not get excited for this game. To have a guy like this hopefully bring some energy to the clubhouse, it's going to be huge, and I think he'll get us off to a good start today.
And Atlanta needs to keep the good times rolling here at home. They're 8-3 so far against Miami, while the Braves are playing the Fish. The Washington Nationals are off in St. Louis. Then the Phillies have the Boston Red Sox, so a chance for the Braves to catapult into first, but they've got to win at home to do that.
And we're looking forward to seeing it out there this afternoon, and hopefully it gives us a quality start and we can get them a W.
Enjoy the moment, take it all in, try and stay within yourself a little bit. Obviously the first couple of pitches are going to be a little crazy.
Go in there and have fun and try and take every little thing in. When you get on that mound, maybe take a step off and just kind of look around and realize that you're in the big leagues and go out there and give it your all.
And that is great advice for Toussaint, who is atop a mound for the first time as a major leaguer. And Joe, I think you said a moment ago that the Braves are very excited about this young man because it seems like he's turned a corner about 2.5 months ago. Command, control, excellent stuff, and he's here on merit, not just need.
Yeah, 91 to 95 fastball. He's got a plus curveball, plus changeup, 3 really good pitches. He's a big kid, 6'3", 215 out of Pembroke Pines, Florida, just 22 years old. I talked to Denny Llewellyn, his AA pitching coach, about him, and he was reiterating what you just said. He's throwing more strikes. He's not walking as many guys. He has definitely turned a corner. And how about this? This will give you some insight into Toussaint. He called Denny Llewellyn yesterday and thanked him for all his help and helping him get to this point.
That is big league.
That is big league, folks. His 4 keys today. Number 1, kind of like Peter Moylan just said, poise. It is the big leagues, but take it all in and then get back to pitching, something you've been doing your whole life. And as I said, 3 good quality pitches that he's got to work with.
And with all due respect to the Miami Marlins, they are in full rebuild mode. This is a team that's won just 48 games. They've lost 71. It is a major league club, and there are some successful major league hitters in Don Mattingly's Toyota starting lineup, most notably Martin Prado, JT Realmuto, and Derek Dietrich. The rest of the Marlins are young, inexperienced players. Some of them we've seen already this year in the first 11 games head-to-head. So, Jeff, this is not the 27 Yankees that Mr. Toussaint has to deal with in his first major league appearance.
No, it's not, guys. But at the same time, we all know, we've watched these games long enough that sometimes, you know, the guys that are in there that you don't expect much end up having good games. So we got to come out and play good today.
So Toukie's first pitch as a big leaguer sails outside, and we are underway in game 1. 86 degrees, a lazy, hazy summer day in Atlanta. And that one just off the plate. It's ball 2 to Rafael Ortega, playing left field for Miami. Ortega's on his 6th major league organization. And there's his first strike. It's 2-1. Toussaint, 6'3", 215. Joe mentioned born in Coral Springs, Florida. That's only part of a very interesting bio. As this one's on the ground to third, he's going to retire his first hitter with a good throw. 1 out. Camargo with the play at the hot corner. Ortega is out number 1. Toukie was born in Coral Springs, Florida. His dad was a politician in Haiti, and he moved from the United States with his mom to go back to Haiti, lived there for 6 or 7 years, and then moved back to the United States. So while he is an American citizen, he also feels like, fellas, he's pitching for the nation of Haiti, with which he has an awful lot in common. And there aren't too many Haitians who've played in the major leagues. So quite an accomplishment for Toussaint, who's pitching not just for the Braves, but perhaps his adopted nation too. And Martin Prado, the second man to face him. Martin had a good homestand, 6 for his last 17, and this one's poked into shallow right. It's going to hang up. Markakis on the run near the line. Got there, 2 out.
Joe, that's one of those right there for Nick. If your legs weren't quite 100% loose, they are now.
Yes, sir.
I guarantee, especially with Nick, a couple of those bones were cracking right there as he was running.
Probably so. First curveball from Toukie, and he gets an out with it.
Tell you another good thing. Obviously, you never want to get too far ahead, but you know, he has only thrown 117 innings this year, which is good because if he does throw well and you know get a chance to stay in there and do some things, you don't really have to worry about the innings limit.
Good point.
JT Realmuto is the hitter and takes a strike.
95.
He's always had that. There's never been much wrong with his velocity. Modified stretch and wind up, and he's ahead of JT Realmuto at 96.
I tell you, I totally forgot until I saw it the other day how we got Toukie. Makes you really want to call Arizona and tell them thank you.
Cost the Braves Phil Gosselin and roughly $10 million in the contract they assumed for Bronson Arroyo. And that hook stayed high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This man was drafted 16th overall in the 2014 draft. And there were a lot of people in the Arizona organization who were heartbroken when they traded him to the Braves. Ooh, that just missed. Pretty good pitch.
It had a lot of action right there.
It did indeed, and it was in a good spot. Pretty good take by Realmuto.
So bases empty, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Realmuto with 14 homers. And now it's a full count.
Little quick pitch, slide step.
Derek Dietrich is on deck. He's the Marlins cleanup man and now first baseman with Justin Bour traded to the Phillies. And the payoff is lifted to shallow right. Out goes Ozzie and Freddie. Who wants it? It'll be Albies. And Toussaint has a 1-2-3 opening inning at the start of his big league career in Atlanta. Toussaint, one of 4 of those 7 youngest players to start a game for the Atlanta Braves. A 1-2-3 first inning. He's off to a good start. Let's see if Atlanta's offense can strike early and often here in game 1 of the doubleheader this afternoon. Red hot Ronald Acuna Jr. leads off the Toyota starting 9. Ozzie Albies with the game-winning homer yesterday. Freeman and Markakis continue to sizzle. Camargo, Inciarte, Suzuki, Charlie Culberson the start at shortstop for game 1. Toussaint will pitch and bat 9th. And fellas, the Braves will face Pablo Lopez, who was scheduled to pitch on August 1st. That's the game that was rained out. This is the game that makes up for that postponement, and Lopez gets the ball for Miami.
22 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds. You see his numbers for the year. This will be his 8th start. 2-2, 4.32 ERA. Low to mid-90s fastball, changeup, curveball. Out of Venezuela.
And acquired from the Seattle Mariners for David Phelps. And he had a great year going at AA and AAA, and now he's here with the big club with a 2-2 record. He is an exceptionally intelligent young man. We were ready to tell you the story about Pablo Lopez in the August 1st potential matchup that was washed out. This kid graduated high school at 16 and was immediately accepted to medical school in Venezuela. His parents are doctors. He used to read the medical literature laying around the house. He took to it, and he really had to make a decision when he graduated with honors from high school: pursue a baseball career or go to medical school.
You never did that? Just reading medical stuff around home?
I had trouble with the comic books. But what an amazing story, as Pablo Lopez, a man that's nicknamed Wikipedia by his teammates, as this one's whacked toward right center field and deep. Sierra back, and it's into the pen. Another leadoff homer for Acuna. He's something.
That's his third leadoff home run, Joe.
Telling you, that was a good at bat too. He took some pitches.
And the fact that he goes right center like that in the bullpen, that's what I love. We all know he can pull the ball. That ball was on the inner half almost a little bit. You saw him stay inside it nice. And you know, I was talking to Snit this morning, and we were talking about how just he's done great. And I love that he's in the leadoff hole. I think he's done great for the sole fact that he's finally playing games in a row.
Right.
You know, you talk about it. I think we all thought he had talent, but he played, then he was hurt, and he played, then he was hurt. And I think for the first time, he's just playing every single day. And you can tell he's comfortable, and it just so happens that it's working out great for us that he's in the leadoff hole.
It's like Tom Glavine said yesterday about him.
Ozzie pops one up left side, long run. Can anyone get there? And the answer is no. That bounces on the warning track.
Tommy was talking about what a great job he's done of getting on base and scoring runs. It's the home runs are gravy. You know, that's a bonus coming out of a leadoff spot.
Absolutely, and I think when we've really seen him get going is, and you know, I haven't talked to Sites to know this, but he's really doing a great job of hitting the ball up the middle and to right center, not just pull happy.
Well, 16 home runs is the second among all National League rookies. He's now up to 35 RBIs. And he's put Atlanta up 1-0 with Ozzie digging in and taking upstairs 1-2. Another Rookie of the Year candidate is not in the lineup for Miami in Game 1. That's Brian Anderson. We'll see him tonight, one would presume, as this one's lifted into left center field. Long run Ortega, and he'll make the catch and slide. And there's the first out. So Ozzie's retired. Here's Freddie Freeman, hottest of all the Braves hitters, a 14-game hitting streak.
You know, Joe, you played this game long enough too that these are the games you'd like to see the game get started that way. Tukey come out, go 3 up, 3 down, get a home run, because after coming off such a big weekend, you think about it, it's alumni weekend, games were packed every day. They were great ball games versus a team that's in the playoffs right now if the season ended, and then to come play the Marlins at 135, that can be tough.
It can be tough, and it's easy to come out flat.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly.
Both Tukey and Acuna, two babies, they've taken care of that.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about what's going to happen the rest of the year, because who's going to read the bedtime story and hand out the milk and cookies on the charter for the few remaining road games we have left? As that one's cut on and missed by Freddie. Yeah, well, yep. Sure. If Joe lets me get to the cookies.
Yep, that's question.
Well, if you get to the milk.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 in, 1 out for Freddie, who has the longest active hitting streak in the National League. Freddie's had 3 hit streaks of double digits in length, a 16-game hitting streak from mid-May to early June, and Starling Marte, the longest hit streak this year in the senior circuit, his was 17 games. And you talk about a man, fellas, that's locked in. There is nobody more locked in than Freddie right now. 3-2 pitch is cut on and missed. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and Lopez has his first strikeout. 2 up, 2 down after the Acuna homer. Lopez doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He's averaging less than 1 strikeout per inning pitched. But he doesn't walk people either. So ball's in play a lot against Pablo, who's coming off a no decision against the Cardinals last time out. 2 runs in 7 innings of work. And they went in for a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, he gave up a home run too to account for 1 or 2 of the runs, and pitched a good ball game. They like him a lot.
No, and I think earlier we were talking, how in the world can you trade? You know, I was asking you all, Justin Bour, and not to say that, you know, he's Freddie at first base, but he was a big part of their offense. I think you said at this point they're in full rebuild. I mean, not half, they're in full. Let's give everybody an opportunity to see what they can do.
And they got a pitching prospect from the Phillies in return for Justin Bour. As this one's banged foul, the Marlins threw in, I believe, half of the remaining money on Bour's contract, which increased the value of the prospect they received in return. And look, that's a real problem for this Marlins club right now. Pitching. Their starters have won just 25 games all year. They're 25-48. That's something they've really got to address as this one's hit to the left side. Martin perfectly positioned, and the throw to first is in time. And Atlanta gets a leadoff home run from Ronald Acuna, his third leadoff blast in his rookie season. He is on fire. So are the Braves, leading 1-0 as we head to the second. You by Checkers.
It's beautiful.
86 degrees, a few puffy clouds overhead. Paul Bird's with us downstairs trying to stay cool. Looking sharp in his Fox Sports polo down past the Braves dugout on the first base side as Atlanta leads 1-0 entering the second inning with Dietrich, Riddle, and Isaac Galloway coming up against Toussaint in his big league debut. And just off the plate, ball one.
Doesn't Birdie look good all the time, though?
Pretty much. You know, it doesn't matter what he's wearing or anything. He is pretty much a stylistic.
Ah.
And Paul looks exceptionally well kept today. When we get our first on-air hit from Paul, you'll notice how sharply pressed and creased his polo is. There's a good reason for that. First, the 2-0 pitch. Paul is out of the Dave Niehaus School of Broadcasting.
I can't get anything past you again, Chip.
Spilled a cup of coffee on yourself.
I was fired up for the MLB debut. Spilled a huge cup of coffee down my chest. Fox was so kind to give me a new shirt, but they brought me the wrong size.
Extra medium, huh?
Extra medium. I'm told I'm rocking it. I'm going to take it home to the missus.
You look like Jerome right now.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now I look like Jerome.
There we go.
There it is. Right there.
Sun's out, guns
Two
out.
tickets.
That's right. I'll take it home to the Mrs. Kim Bird, see how she responds. I don't know. Nothing left to say, guys.
Dietrich walks. Here's JT Riddle. And a first pitch strike. Riddle's had shoulder problems. That's cost him a lot of time this year. He's batting .218 for the season. 5 homers, 21 knocked in. He's got a couple of hits against the Braves this year. There's that breaking ball. It's bounced out of play. 0-2. It's interesting, guys, how different organizations want to develop their pitchers. Remember, Tukey was originally an Arizona Diamondback. 1 year after they drafted him, they traded him to the Braves. When he was in their system, they took away his curveball. They would not let him throw that in the lower reaches of the minor leagues at Missoula and Kane County. And the reason for that is they wanted to help him develop control with his fastball and his changeup. And so when the Braves got him, obviously he was a little further along with all 3 of those pitches. He had them all, and he's using them all now as a major league pitcher.
Well, I'm told that changeup is his out pitch to lefties or righties. He'll use it to either side.
Slide step, and the pitch missed high to Riddle. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you talk about it, I think what's so great that we took a chance on him, you know, and brought him over. As you talk about it, you look at the Marlins, they're pitching starved right now. They're having issues, and sometimes you got to take a chance and go for a pitcher with a high ceiling, giving him an opportunity.
There's a looper into center field, a base hit, and the Marlins will have runners at first and second. That's the first base hit allowed by Toussaint. And Miami has a threat, and Isaac Galloway is coming up with nobody out.
That was another curveball there, wasn't it, Joe?
Looks like it.
Yeah. That's a situation where you talk about, I'd like to maybe see him throw his changeup right there.
Yeah, he didn't drop it. It was just kind of spinning out there a little bit. Wasn't even a strike. Riddle did a nice job just to
no, and
I
think even though you talk about the Marlins and maybe some of these guys in the lower order haven't had the experience, but even the guy like Riddle, they're going to be able to put those balls in play, and that's the difference to me.
That's in play and hammered toward the gap in right center. That's going to get to the wall and score at least 1 run. Riddle's on his way to third. Freddie Gonzalez will stop him. And Isaac Galloway, who had his first major league hit against the Braves, rips one off the base of the wall in right center to tie the game at 1 apiece.
Jumped all over that first pitch. Galloway just had 8 at bats before this one, 2 for 8. I'm sure a lot of these guys in the lineup for the Marlins here in Game 1 have seen Toussaint before coming up through the minor leagues.
That's slapped by Magneuris Sierra to left, and a nice grab by the ball boy in the left field corner. Strike 1.
And the first pitch swing. Brewers were doing a lot of that yesterday.
There's a good hook, 0-2. Sierra has not done much at the plate. He's had trouble making consistent contact. He's had 57 at bats. He struck out 15 times. But he did have a big game against Atlanta when Miami was last here. A 3-hit affair.
2 strikes on him now. It takes it out of the equation, but it's going to bear watching in this series how much he's been working on his bunting. You talked about it off air earlier today, Chip, about Juan Pierre being called in by the Marlins to work with him on it, and he had a couple of bunt base hits against the Mets.
This one's poked foul at third.
You talk about a guy to work with you. That's one guy I think I'd listen to. Not a bunt.
Well, Sierra came out of the Cardinals organization. He was part of the return for Marcell Ozuna. Miami's tied the game 1-1 in the second. A leadoff walk to Derek Dietrich. And the pitch is low and outside. 1-2 your count.
We've not seen him go to that changeup much yet.
No, been mostly fastball, curveball. I think he threw a slider a minute ago.
Line drive toward left. Acuna sets up, charges, catches, and no advance.
Good throw.
Yep.
So Tukey gets the 7th place hitter. Now he's got the number 8 hitter coming up. Yadiel Rivera, the second baseman.
Good head high throw that Camargo could cut off.
And I would think if Tukey's learned anything in his first 2 innings here, Joe, it's that as good as his fastball is and it explodes, you've got to be able to hit your spots. And I think he's, you know, that's something obviously he's going to work on, because the stuff you see is electric, but you got to be able to hit it when it's 0-2, 1-2.
Rivera's a former Milwaukee Brewer. He's out of Puerto Rico. Miami signed him as a minor league free agent. He's 25, make it 26 years old now. And is 0 for 6 against the Braves this year, and he's 0-2 in this count.
And you got the infield back right here with the pitcher on deck, but I think that's more of a you know what, we'd rather give up 1 run. We feel like we're going to score some runs today.
3 pitches takes care of Rivera. There's his first major league strikeout. And that ball will head to the Braves dugout and Toukie's trophy case. Now you've got the pitcher up there. Lopez has a couple of hits, though, in 11 tries, and that's out of play. Opposing pitchers have been somewhat problematic of late.
Sure have.
Chase Anderson drove in 2 runs yesterday. Max Scherzer, I think, had a base hit up in Washington.
Well, and I think you see right there, I'm glad he just dropped that in. You know, pitchers don't hit much, but I'll tell you what, a lot of them are good enough athletes, guys, that if you just throw one in there, 94, 95, first pitch, and they're swinging, they got a chance to put one out there.
Yeah, they'll throw the bat in front of the baseball and put it in play anyway.
Absolutely.
Julio knows all about that. He's hit a home run this year. First of his career.
That ball was crunched, too.
Mm-hmm. Kind of got the Braves offense going that day.
It did.
The 1-2 is way high. And a nice job by Suzuki. This has got to be a tough assignment for Suzuki. Probably didn't see Toukie, but very little, if at all, in the spring. Now trying to catch him in his major league debut. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Oh, wow.
Full count. Scott Berry said that one missed. That was a pretty good pitcher's pitch.
I don't know what was wrong with that.
Especially to a pitcher.
Uh-huh.
Now he's got to throw a strike. He did, and the inning is over. Back-to-back strikeouts. And how about Toukie? Second and third, nobody out, and he gives up only 1 run.
Is sponsored by your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
Well, bottom of the second, welcome to the Bigs. Toukie Toussaint, yeah, in just his second inning, gets in a jam, works out of it, relaxes, hits his spots. The curveball, the stuff is all that's promised. Talking to Braves scouting director Brian Bridges earlier today, he said this was a total team effort. And he said when the Diamondbacks drafted him, they asked him to stop throwing his curveball and work on a slider. It greatly hurt him, his confidence. He struggled. The Braves realized this because they had seen that curveball when he was younger. They brought him over, paid a price for him, but we're all happy now because his stuff is electric. Dan Meyer in A-ball down in Rome got him throwing his curveball again. that process really helped his confidence. He has carried it through and become the prospect and pitcher that now everybody expects. Chip, Joe, Jeff, back to you guys.
Hey, Paul, I was curious about his arm slot for that breaking ball, too. It's not exactly right up on top.
No, it's not, and I don't mind that because he's got big, long arms, and as long as you can control it, I don't mind him throwing from a couple different angles. Most big leaguers, right-handed pitchers, have to have a slider. He's throwing a breaking ball from different angles, so that's key.
And if you shake hands with Toussaint, you are shaking hands with a man-sized hand. That is a guy that's going to probably get a lot of spin on his pitches, Paul, I would think.
Yeah, and I like what Birdie said. He's kind of thrown from the side here. It's kind of slinging out there, and that's when you're a big guy, 6'3", like that, that's tough to zone in.
Swing and a miss by Johan Camargo, leading off the Braves' second 1-1 game. Camargo's got 5 hits in his last 13 tries. And up to 13 home runs.
I just figured Birdie was going with the Tiger, just changing shirts every 6-7 holes, every 4 or 5 innings.
He did that the other night, by the way.
Birdie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ground ball hit towards second. Rivera's got it. And there's out number 1. Yeah, Birdie had his Braves jersey on for the Alumni Friday night game.
There you go.
And then for his TV hit,
oh, he's got a backup.
Look at him. Oh, man.
All kinds of stuff, but I'm rocking the extra medium right now, so don't expect me to change.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm feeling confident in it.
I have a feeling you're going to be calling people back at the studio telling them you want nothing but schmediums from now on.
That's what I want, a bunch of schmediums. And just so you know, this is actually large, so I don't want to go to the schmedium just yet.
Okay.
Yeah. In the midsection, if they make them larger down here and tighter up top, that may be even better.
Yeah, those are my style, Paul. I call those the bell-bottom shirts. Those work out great.
Gotcha.
Right, line drive over short by Ender. And a base hit for the Braves center fielders coming on in the second half. That'll get Ender over 250.
Hey, and guys, if I can.
Yeah.
You were talking about the hand size of Tookie, which is absolutely incredible. Talking to another Tiger, Kevin Gossman, in the locker room. He said, when I shake hands, the first thing I do with any young guy is I see the size of their hands, because I know if he's got a good size, I can teach him to split. And I said, calm down, man. It's just his major league debut. And he goes, I know, but he's got the best split fingers I've ever seen. So we'll see if that's in his future. Yeah, a few years down the line, maybe months.
Kurt Suzuki with the man aboard and 1 out. And time is called. Boy, was Gossman good the other night. His home debut against Milwaukee, absolutely spectacular work.
I told you this. I got to believe when Alex and them went ahead and got him, they got to understand, listen, he's not pitching against the Yankees and Red Sox 6, 7, 8 times a year. And that's got to be able to do something to your confidence.
Sure thing.
94 pitches in that game, Jeff. 71 strikes.
Yeah.
Against a good team.
There's no doubt. Right now, I don't care who you are. You pitch against the Red Sox, there's a good chance you're giving up at least 5 runs right now.
1 ball, no strikes for Kurt. Runner at first with 1 out. And a shot to right. That ball's carrying. That ball is onto the track and caught. Galloway with a nice running catch. And Suzuki tried to spoil the shift, but lines out hard to right for the second out of the inning.
What in the world were they doing playing him that way?
I was about to say.
That should have been an extra base hit from the get-go. Nice play by Galloway, but Kurt never hits the ball to right field like that.
You got to believe in scout report meetings, that right fielder should be in right center.
Yeah, he was straight away. Tough break for Kurt.
So Charlie Culberson will bat with a man aboard and 2 outs. Charlie hitting .284. Charlie's been very productive against Miami pitching. 7 hits, 14 at bats, and 6 RBIs. So he gets the start at short here in game 1.
But could there be anybody that does not like Charlie more than the Washington Nationals? Dave Martinez probably would be fine never seeing him again. Lefty, righty, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'd think that would be a good system. Just go trade for all the guys that kill you.
No doubt.
1 ball, no strikes for Culberson. Pablo Lopez to the belt. And a swing and a miss. Charlie is our SunTrust confidence player. He's had a nice run over his last 14.
4 homers. I know at least 2 of those are against the Nationals. 5 of his 8 total home runs for the year have come against Washington. His average now up to 284.
You know, I think Snit's done such a good job too of continuing to get Charlie into games, whether it's a double switch or a spot start here, because I think he knows this is a guy come down the stretch, and if hopefully in the playoffs we're going to need some big at bats from him. And you got to keep him fresh.
That's upstairs. And Charlie's worked an even count, 2-2.
Yeah, and 2 of his home runs this year have been pinch hit homers.
Little pop toward first, and in foul ground. Derek Dietrich is there to make the play, and the Braves are out of luck in the second inning. Top of the order coming up for Miami. We're tied after 2. What a shocking finish for the Sunday night game at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Cubs were down to their last strike, and David Bodie with a walk-off grand slam. And the Cubs stun the Nationals, take 2 out of 3 in that series at Wrigley. Final 4-3 Cubs.
I don't know if it gets any better than winning a ball game when you only lead for 1 pitch. You know?
Yeah.
That's the only time they led in the ball game, and that was amazing.
And I tell you what, we've talked all year about the Nationals. If they're going to make a run, I believe last night might have been the exclamation point on their season. If one team's in front of you by 6 games, it's fine. But with 2 teams, to have your dog on the mound last night, Scherzer's just throwing gas by everybody, and to lose that way, I don't know. I don't know if you come back from that.
Tough loss.
It was a huge loss. Dave Martinez was very quiet in the manager's office after the game, saying of his club they could have won all 3 of those games in Chicago, but dropped 2 of them. And now, guys, they have to go to St. Louis and play the Cardinals. No rest for them. They open up the series tonight, and the Cardinals have suddenly won their last 5 series and just swept Kansas City. That is not an easy stretch of games at all for the Nationals, who are now 5.5 games behind the Braves and Phillies, who are tied atop the Eastern Division pile. Did he go? He didn't. Rafael Ortega is still alive after grounding out to start the game. Great job by Toussaint to strand runners at second and third with nobody out. A line out and back-to-back strikeouts kept it 1-1. Now he starts his 3rd inning and misfires high, even count.
You know, he's missed a lot arm side when he's missed today. And I wonder if part of that's just hurrying, nerves,
getting up,
flying open. Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, an appeal, and again, Ortega checked to swing. Full count.
We got Rojas coming on deck for Prado. So I don't know if something happened to Martin.
Martin's had some hamstring problems this year. If it's nothing serious, the pitch is a little tapper back to the mound. And Toussaint will make the peg to first. Nice comeback. Ortega's retired, and it will be Rojas for Prado.
You know, you talk about Prado having hamstring injuries. I can't remember who it was, whether it was Freddie or somebody in the first inning hit a long fly ball down left field.
Oh, right.
You remember that?
Foul ball.
And Prado ran all the way almost to the wall down there. And I said, I wonder if that, and he was playing the shift, I think.
Before the game started, before Lopez threw his first pitch, Martin backed up almost like where the umpire is and ran halfway to home plate, like he was kind of stretching his leg out then, something that was unusual.
So Rojas steps in, jumps all over the first pitch, drives this one down the left field line, long run, and it's a foul ball. And strike one. So Rojas for Prado.
When we talk about it, if Martin's hammy was hurting him at all, there's nothing worse than when you got a sore hammy or quad, something like that, happened to play a 135 game.
And flying to get here last night.
Prado was reinstated from the disabled list on July 5th with a left hamstring. Started the year on the disabled list with that same left hamstring. Played last year only 37 times because of various injuries, and he has to leave game one early today. So Rojas in a 2-strike hole and fought that off. He's been a thorn in the side of the Braves this year. First career multi-homer game, May 20th at SunTrust Park.
Well, and this is tough for Rojas because I can tell you right now, when you're having a day-night doubleheader and you're not in the game in the first one, do you know what you do when you get to the field? You're eating breakfast and watching TV till the game starts.
Taking it easy.
That'll bounce foul. It's 0-2. Rojas entering today's action, tied for the second most hits of any Marlin against the Braves. Brian Anderson has 14. Starlin Castro and Rojas have 11. JT Realmuto 10. Against the Braves staff. So the 0-2 pitch, cut on and miss. That's strikeout number 3. That's a good pitch. He has sent down 5 straight now, 3 of them on strike 3.
Oh, look what happened.
There it is. And that is a split.
Hey, Paul, we've already got a splitter working, buddy.
He does. That's his version of the changeup. It's more of the changeup split, but if he can do that, look out.
So Realmuto, the batter, he popped out his first time and he just got hit. So Realmuto stands at first base with 2 outs, and Derek Dietrich is going to be the hitter.
Maybe Gossman got him between innings.
Yeah, may have.
Hey, here you go, kid. Watch this. You see that? Just try it.
Like Freddie was trying to press on the place where he got hit, too, to see if it hurt.
Yeah. Did he do that with Bryce Harper
up
in Washington? Or maybe he was here. There's a strike, something off speed. Dietrich down 0-1. It'll be a work in progress for Dietrich at first base. That's not his main position, but now that Bohr has been traded, Derek will have to learn on the job over there. But who better to help him than his manager, Don Mattingly, who was, as you know, a tremendous first baseman with the Yankees.
Boy, was he good.
Oh, he was great. And then Perry Hill, their first base coach, infield coach, is phenomenal.
A ball and a strike. Game tied at 1. We're in the 3rd. And Dietrich knows a thing or two about getting hit. Danced out of the way of that one. 2-1.
Speaking of injuries,
17 times he's been hit.
Yeah, well, Dietrich's got, like I said, I remember playing there. When you get on the plate that far, you got to know you're going to get hit. It's like Utley and those guys. Remember when we used to play in Philly? I was going to say, speaking of injuries, David Wright played 5 innings yesterday.
Isn't that great?
Oh, so happy for him. Pain-free, hit a ball hard to left field, and well, I'd say what, you know, me and him got to become pretty good friends up there. To see what he's gone through the last 3 years, man, just to get out there is a miracle yesterday.
You know how good that must have felt to hit that ball hard.
2-2 pitch is popped up center of the diamond. Who wants it? Freddie Freeman says he has it. He does. And that will retire the side. Toukie's going to make his debut at the plate. He'll lead off for Atlanta. We're tied 1-1 in game 1. Bobblehead collection this Saturday the 18th when the Rockies are in town. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans here at SunTrust Park, you'll get your own Chipper Crazy Train bobblehead that actually plays the song, and it's presented by Napa. Find out all about Chipper's details at Braves.com. Miguel Rojas remains in the game for Prado at third base. As soon as we hear what's ailing Martin, we'll pass that along to you. Our game is tied 1-1. And Acuna's solo homer led off the first for the Braves. Isaac Galloway, an RBI double, brought home Derek Dietrich to tie it in the Marlins' second. Now we'll see what kind of hitter Toukie is. First time he's grabbed a bat in the big leagues.
About those numbers. 310, 6 RBIs. Everything we've heard about him. Good athlete, feels his position, can put the ball in play.
Go ahead and get your first hit while you're at it.
Sure. Who was it? Allard got hit his first AB.
After we found out he was 1 for 32 in the minor leagues, and I would have thought he'd hit 500 the way that at bat was.
Ground ball, foul at third. It's 2-2.
That was a nice swing, though. He looks like he's got an idea.
And strike 3, a good breaking ball. Lopez has his second strikeout, and that's how the home third starts. And we're back to the top of the order in Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna Jr., we are told, is the first Braves leadoff hitter to homer in 3 straight games since Rafael Furcal did it in July of 2004.
Rafi had some pop, especially right-handed.
You know, he used a 36, 34-ounce bat from the right side. The thing had no choice but to be loud when it came off it.
One ball, one strike. That's inside. Like how Scott Berry calls balls and strikes. He tells you where the pitch was. Heard him say a moment ago, ball in. And it was the pitch.
That's one thing that's helped Ronald too, Joe, is he's laying off that inside pitch now. And I know he's going to swing at it sometimes, but those ones that are really bearing in on him, he's waiting to get that ball out over the plate. Right there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
3 in a row right there. 3-1. He's trying to get him to chase and jam him up, and he doesn't do it.
Brian Snitker was talking about that yesterday, about the adjustments he's making, kind of on the fly, things he's learning and what teams are trying to do to him.
And I said it's tough because, you know, Snit was telling me today, he's like, I think it was a couple days ago, he said Ronald never faced the guy, rolled over on the first pitch.
Right.
Yes, Sights, how can he swing at that pitch? And Sights said, well, he's hitting 390
on the first
on
pitch.
the first pitch. And I just go back to myself a little bit. When I first came up, you know, I was swinging a lot early and getting hits, and it's tough to tell someone to be patient when it's actually working at that time. And I think that's good, though, that you're seeing Ronald know he's going to have to make adjustments eventually, but you don't want to take his aggressiveness away either.
No balls and a strike. Got jammed and popped it up. Rivera at second with his glasses shining makes the play. And Albies is out number 2.
And Brian's point to me, Jeff, follow up what you were talking about with Acuna, is that a pitcher he's never faced before, first time up, he makes an out on the first pitch. He might come up the next time up with guys on base, and he still hasn't really learned anything about how the guy wants to pitch.
Well, and like he said, it's tough because that happens, but then the next game he swings at the first pitch against the guys in their face and he bowls a double into the gap, and you're like, well, it's tough to tell him.
Yep, Brian has said a couple of times, it's amazing what the Acuñas and Albies are doing at this level so quickly in their careers, but as Brian has also said, they're 20 and 21 years old. That's part of what you're going to get. And Freddie straightened up with a pitch that missed. 1 ball, no strikes.
How much deeper can the second baseman play and still throw Freddie out on a ground ball, you think? Man, that is way out there.
If it's not hit hard, he's not throwing him out.
And yanked foul into the Braves dugout. It's an even count.
I almost want to see it.
Yeah. Freddie's been beating the shift so often lately that
Just
that
beat
would
it
be
this
another
way. He's actually coming in. I think, someone from the Marlins dugout might have saw what you saw, Joe, and been like, yeah.
Now the 1-1 pitch is bounced foul past Eric Young and Freeman. A 1-2 count. Freddie has destroyed Marlins pitching all year long. 21 hits, 6 home runs, and 12 RBIs. Similar production would be welcome in this 4-game series. And now the throw to first. Braves are 8-3 against Miami. They've won 4 of 5 against the Fish here at SunTrust Park. Braves have been dominant within the division. The pitch is fouled straight back. A good rip.
Boy, he got away with a high fastball there.
Short lead at first for Acuna. And the 1-2 pitch. Just inside. That is tipped and caught. He pulled a string, and Lopez strikes out Freeman for the second time. This game moves to the fourth. We're still tied.
He's throwing excellent. What would I like to see more? The ball on the inside part of the plate. Let's roll the video in. We're going to see some incredible pitches. Now, he had just hit the batter before he comes into Dietrich. He's got to move his feet. Now he's effectively wild. Watch this next pitch. Split change nasty. Now he's going to lose his backside. He's going to sweep at it. That is because he threw the ball to the inside part of the plate. Hitting Real Muto the time before. There's nothing wrong with having great stuff and being a little effectively wild. What's that translate to? Well, the hitters don't get too comfortable. Chip, Joe, and Jeff.
Well, hope that discomfort continues here in the fourth inning. For the first two guys that are up are the two guys that hit Toussaint the hardest. Riddle and Galloway singled and doubled before Tukey retired the next three in order to preserve a 1-1 tie. Ground ball to second. That ought to be easy. And there's the first out. How long, guys, did you feel until you had an idea of what a pitcher's stuff was like? Did it take you more than a couple of at-bats to feel somewhat comfortable in the box against a guy you've never seen before?
I always thought it was really not until the second time I faced him. You know, because
second game or second at bat?
Second game.
Second game.
Because you might see 3 or 4 different pitches in those 4 at-bats that you're trying to get used to.
Well, I think Birdie said it right. I look at a guy like Carlos Martinez with the St. Louis Cardinals, who I faced, who had obviously great stuff, but he would throw one and almost just take your head off and then paint 2 away. And, you know, if you can control that and kind of harness it, it can be a great tool to have, erratically wild, because, yeah, it's not fun as a hitter when I'm standing there knowing 96 might come and smoke me, and yet the next 2 pitches are painted away. So like I said, if you can be effective with it, it's great. You just can't be too erratic.
How about Pedro Martinez?
Same, yeah.
He used
another
it to
guy.
to a Hall of Fame career. He was not afraid to pitch inside.
There's a strike to Isaac Galloway, who doubled home a run. And he picked up his first major league hit here on July 31st. He was called up that day. His plane was late. He got here in the middle innings, came on late, and picked up a hit after over 900 minor league games. And he just struck out. That's 4 of them for Tukey, and quickly 2 out in the 4th.
And see, there's a guy right there who, first pitch, look at that right there, Joe. I mean, just way out in front of it. And that's a guy who kind of bum rushed him first pitch, got that double, and you saw Tukey pitch completely different to him that time. And that's stuff he's going to learn too, who he can just kind of groove one over to and who he can't.
And had a real good downer spin on it too.
Sierra lined out to left with Riddle at third and Galloway at second his last time up. So he's 0 for 1. And he's going to be 0 for 2 as Freddie steps on the bag. Quick and easy 1, 2, 3, 4th. He does it on 8 pitches. Touki looking good in his debut. Four, 5, and 6 hitters are due for the Braves. Nick Markakis, like Freddie Freeman, is on a very successful tear at the plate. He is our Zaxby's indescribably good player.
Yeah, he's racking up a lot of extra base hits too, Jeff. Driving in runs, he's been doing that all year long, but hitting .500, he's up to .327. Put a little gap between he and Freddie and Christian Yelich.
Well, and I've gotten to the point, it's tough for me to even talk about Nick because he just keeps doing it every day. So I feel like I'm saying the same thing. He's just having one of those just consistently phenomenal seasons. That's what I love about it.
All reliable. 147 hits.
God, I'd really love to see him get 200 hits this year. I think coming out of the 4th hole, that would be amazing.
And I said yesterday, how can he not be in the MVP conversation? He may not lead the league in homers or RBIs, but he's leading in just about everything else.
Well, you lead in average, you lead in hits, you lead in multi-hit games. You're in the top 4 in on base. You're on a winning club that's in first place, and you're ripping up doubles almost on a daily basis. That one's out toward the bullpen gate. And Nick Markakis has a leadoff 2-bagger, his 37th double, and the Braves are in business in the bottom of the 4th inning.
He's got a chance to set the team record in doubles too.
I think with Giles had 51, 53.
Something like that.
I know it's Marcus who has it.
Yeah.
That one's number 37 for Nick. And now Camargo and company will try to bring him home and put the Braves back in front.
And that's what I think we talk about Nick that's been so awesome is it's not 4 for 4, 5 for 5 games, Joe. It's 1 for 3, 2 for 4. 1 for 3, 2 for 4. It's just every day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is tough to do.
Every day.
That's in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes for Camargo.
And he is in there every day. Played in every game, he and Freddie.
And it's an even count. You're right, guys. Marcus Giles has the record for most doubles in Atlanta history. 49 of them in 2003. Giles played in 145 games. The all-time Braves franchise record for doubles is 50. Set by Hugh Duffy in 1894.
That was a great season.
Think about that. 1894, a record that has stood up for doubles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't like triples where there was no fence, you can run forever.
Right.
But just doubles stand up that long.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? And Nick's got a shot. This one's fouled off Real Muto. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
1894.
That year, Hugh Duffy also scored 160 runs.
Probably had to get a job in the offseason baling hay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
Milking cows.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is slapped toward left. That's going to be trouble. That's going to drop. It's going to be fair, and that's going to put the Braves in front. Atlanta's doubling them to death. It's 2-1. Back-to-back 2-baggers by Markakis and Camargo.
It's not how hard you hit them, it's where you hit them.
Exactly. RBI number 54 for Johan. And a thing of beauty. Just fought it off and dumped it in the right place. Look at Real Muto's reaction. That's like what you see from a catcher when they give up a home run and they know off the crack of the bat. Well, he knew this one was going to dump in there.
I'll tell you what, that's the greatest feeling for a hitter right there, when you know you got jammed, you got beat, but yet you're going to get a double and a ribby out of it.
So the Braves now as a club have 240 doubles. That's more than any other team in the National League.
You know, and don't get me wrong, we all love the home run stats, but I love the double stats too, because to me you're just keeping rallies going. You're keeping the line moving. Not that you won't take home runs, but sometimes home runs are rally killers.
The only other club in baseball that has more doubles, not surprisingly, the Red Sox.
Oh wow, really?
I would have guessed them too.
Yeah, 267. They also have 25 triples and 166 homers.
Makes you wonder if Mookie Betts didn't get another hit this year, if he'd win the MVP already.
He might.
No balls, 2 strikes for Ender. Nobody out. Braves are back in front. And a wicked breaking ball takes care of Inciarte, who's out for the first time. That's 4 strikeouts for Lopez.
Those were back-to-back good breaking balls to Ender.
Yes.
Really good pitches.
Ender's frustrated at not being able to advance Camargo. Let's see if Suzuki can. Let's see if they alter their defensive lineup for him the second time up.
No, Galloway moved about 5 steps to his left when Kurt came up. I say that works to his advantage because he's more than likely going to pull the ball anyway. They put the 3 infielders on the left side and play the outfielders straight away or a little bit toward right.
One ball, no strikes.
And that's a good breaker.
Well, you can see why the Marlins like this kid. Very heady, very smart. Great year at AA and AAA, and for an organization that's looking for homegrown pitching, maybe Lopez will be an answer for them the rest of this year and for years to come. That would be a great story.
That looked like a changeup. Saw the replay.
Sharply hit to third. Rojas in for Prado, makes the strong throw, and Camargo has to hold at second. There's out number 2.
Well, that's tough for Kurt. That's 2 balls just scorched today. You get nothing to show for it.
The Braves have had the leadoff man on twice in today's game. Both times they've scored. They lead 2-1. Culberson will be walked intentionally, and Miami will go after Tukey with 2 on and 2 out.
2 on, 2 out, Tukey. That's what we're going to start calling if he gets a hit here.
And I like it. I think this is one of those times we talk about, Joe, especially if you're a pretty good hitter. If that first pitch fastball, get yourself ready right here and put a swing on it. And if he throws you the curveball, oh well.
There was some confusion as to how to pronounce Tukey's name, and Jared Burleson, as he is often so cleverly able to do in the press notes, said his last name rhymes with Jeff's favorite breakfast pastry, the croissant. So Toussaint, croissant.
Okay.
I'm just going to call him Tukey.
I like the way you said that, Chip.
Well, merci. No balls and a strike.
Let's be honest. You know I like the bacon, egg, and cheese.
There's no doubt. Yeah, after you ripped us on the national broadcast for eating on Saturday.
I speak truth.
Oh.
And what do you want me to say?
Wow. If I ate like Joe and Chip, I'd weigh 300 pounds. The pitch is gone missed. And that will.
Why do you think I run 4 miles every day?
Oh, it does. Here we go. Atlanta takes the lead. Back-to-back doubles. Markakis and Camargo. And we are off to the 5th in game 1. Braves lead at 2-1. Bottom part of the Marlins order is coming up. Making his major league debut has looked very, very good. He's walked 1, he's hit 1, he's given up 1 run on 2 hits with 4 strikeouts, fellas. And so far, the scouting report's been right on the button. He's had excellent command of all 3 or 4 of his pitches so far today.
I liked what Jeff said, and that is that he was able to pitch out of that jam in the 2nd inning without any more damage. That was some poise. That was one of his keys today, and he was able to handle it.
You said that was a forward key, and I think the great thing is, like you said, you never want to get to that point, but once you are, let's see what the kid can do.
So he starts our Audi 5th inning presented by Q5 with Yadiel Rivera, then Lopez, then Ortega. Tukey now with a 1-run lead, 2-1. He's retired 9 of his last 10 hitters. The only man to reach was Real Muto, who was hit by a pitch. And a line drive toward right. That'll curl out toward Markakis. And there's the first out.
And he's getting some quick outs, too, which I like. And I think Snit's done a great job, especially with these young pitchers this year when they come up, is not putting a cap on them. You know, you hear some people sometime, what's your plan for him? I want him to go 5 innings, or I'm going to, you know, hey, he'll show me with how he's pitching what I'm going to do, whether it's 6 innings, 7 innings, 5.
His pitch count has gone up on average every month. Started with 77 on average in April. That's to be expected early in the year. Then it went to 86 in May, 94 in June, and in July it was 99.
Line drive by Lopez, the pitcher, but a quick second out.
What was it, 8 pitches last inning?
8 pitches, Aaron. What do we have? 4 this inning? 5 this inning right now?
So 67 pitches with 2 outs in the 5th inning, top of the order. And Ortega's coming up. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, sorry, Chip, but when you got a double dip like this, if you can squeeze 7 out of a rookie,
boy,
what a bonus that is.
That skips up there. 1 ball, no strikes. And a little squibber. Tukey to his right with a bare hand. Fields and fires a fastball to first. Nice athletic play to get Ortega. And it's another easy inning. 7 pitches. Gets him 3 outs. He preserves the lead. And the top of the Atlanta order is coming up, leading 2-1 in game 1. He's going early. He's our StatCast AI powered by AWS.
You know, they ought to have another metric on there for noise, you know, for loudness, because that was loud. Decibel level. Decibel level.
We could call that the Francometer.
Oh, the Jeffometer.
Oh,
I like that even better.
Well, he made a loud crack of the bat stand up for the game's first run in the first inning. He's homered in 3 straight games now. 9 homers since moving to the leadoff spot. Let's see if the Braves can add on here against Lopez, the would-be medical student who has pitched with some surgical precision in this game. He has looked good. 5 strikeouts, a couple of walks. Ground ball hit towards short into the shift. Riddle loads up. Bad throw. And that one is into the dugout, I believe. And Acuna almost awkwardly at first base gave everybody a scare. Looks like he's all right.
That's a horrible flashback.
I wonder if he even touched the base the more I looked at it when he went through. And I don't think he knows he can go to second yet.
He was running inside the line and hit the bat and came back kind of funny.
Well, did the ball go into the dugout?
Looks like the ball is stuck right up against the padding at the base in front of the wall there. So no, it didn't. It's stuck there. We lost sight of it, and it didn't go into the dugout. So Acuna's on the board after an E6, and he'll be at first with Ozzie Albies in the box. Watch the ball lodge right there.
Wow.
That was fortunate for Riddle.
Runners going. The pitch, a ball. The throw to second is late. And Acuna's flying feet earns him steal number 8.
You know, it seems like when he has these games where he, like today, leads off with a homer, then there's a whole lot more to come. He gets a hit his first at bat, steals a base. It's like he plays with his hair on fire the rest of the game because he's got so much going on.
And I like that with him hitting leadoff. I think he feels like he can do that. He can steal bases. And I've said it, he reminds me so much of a young Hanley Ramirez.
Really?
I mean, just the power he's got, yet I think he's going to grow more into his body. But, man, when Hanley was young, he ran, he did everything. And it reminds me a lot.
2 balls, no strikes. And a squibber. That's going to get the runner to third. Productive out.
Great read right there by Acuna, too.
Good instincts.
So an RBI chance for Freeman with 1 out. A fly ball could give the Braves their 3rd run.
And you see right here, you always taught when the ball's hit right at you to kind of freeze sometimes and not go. But I think he knew that wasn't hit very hard and made a good read and decided to go.
This is something new. I don't recall a time where the infield is played in for Freddie with 3 guys on the right side of the infield. Do you, Chip? Do you remember?
Nope. And I can promise you, not a single one of them's real thrilled with the prospect, are they? No balls and a strike. I may have to check the bios of Riddle, Rivera, and Dietrich and see if they're single. You know the old saying, get the married men off the infield?
Yeah. People wonder why I played the outfield. This is majority of the reason right here.
Yikes.
I have no desire to see a ball coming at me hard.
Well, it'll be fun to watch this at bat. It's 1-1 already, but he's gotten Freddie out swinging on some off-speed stuff. Real good off-speed stuff.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled away.
This is where Freddie gets so good to me, though, Joe, is not that he wasn't locked in or concentrating on the other 2 at bats, but knows he's got a job to do right here. Always feel like he's got that ability to take it to the next level.
Realmuto sets up outside, and Freddie rolls 1 foul at first.
You know what I'd like to see him do? I'd like to see him hit a slow grounder to Paul Nauert.
Yeah.
Be great.
The second base umpire.
Yeah.
Who's standing out there to the left of the bag at second.
And the grounder doesn't even make it out of the infield.
Yeah.
Line drive toward left. There's the catch. Acuna back to the bag, tagging. He's headed home. The throw is up the line, and Freeman gets it done. A sacrifice fly, and Atlanta adds to the lead. RBI number 72 for Freeman.
That had to be a quick turnaround for Acuna. He broke off the bag and had to go back and tag and really got to the base right about the same time as the catch was made by Ortega.
And you see this little 2-seamer away right here that Freddie went. But like you said, Acuna, to me, he got this run almost all by himself as far as getting on base, stealing second, getting to third on a great read. And then, as you said, Joe, the ball was hit hard and on the line. He had to get back quick.
Yeah, so an excellent base running inning for Acuna. His speed forced the high throw from Riddle. He was lucky not to hurt his knee again at first. Stole second, took third on the grounder, and then scores the 3rd run. So a little more breathing room for Toussaint as the Braves are in the 5th and now enjoy a 3-1 lead. And that's banged toward first. Nice play by Dietrich. Race to the bag, and that will end the inning. Atlanta cashes in a throwing error at short. Acuna scores for the 2nd time. Have a VIP meet and greet package for August 31st. You'll get to say hello to Ronald, take a picture with him, and get his autograph. Then you can head down to the field to watch the Braves take batting practice before the game. Space is limited. Get your VIP meet and greet tickets today at Braves.com.
Right here, I want you to watch this hustle right here. Runs hard through the bag. Obviously, we kind of dodge one there. But then you see this jump right here. Gets to second, steals. After running hard twice, and this was, watch how fast he got back right here. See him get back, bam, the throw, and it was a good throw too by Ortega in left field. And why I look back to think this is going to be so big, guys, is because when you get towards the end of the season, the playoffs, and there's good pitching, you have to be able to manufacture runs like that. We're not always going to have the big home runs or the doubles. And for him to be able to do something like that just adds a whole nother dynamic to this offense.
It's so true, Jeff. And one thing, and I saw that replay running to first that I didn't see before, and maybe one of the reasons he was running so far into fair territory, he was watching the play. He wasn't watching or looking at first base, and that may have caused him to kind of run off line a little bit. But man, all produced by him. Nice ground ball by Ozzie that was good enough to get him over. Got to manufacture.
So Miguel Rojas up for the second time in the game, and he bounces one to third. That's a fair ball. Camargo loads up and throws him out. Rojas in for Martin Prado, who left after an inning or so this afternoon. Hopefully nothing seriously wrong with Martin Prado. Meanwhile, Tukey rolling merrily along. He hasn't given up a hit since the second inning. He's had one base runner since Isaac Galloway's run-scoring double.
I don't know, talking to Martin, he's just frustrated he can't stay on the field right now. And I think we all know how hard he plays and how much he loves to play this game. And I think it's killing him not to be able to be out there with the guys.
And he got off to a very slow start because of the injury, and then had worked his average up, closing in on 250. So that's not easy to do either.
No.
Realmuto, the only Marlin to reach since the second inning. Tukey hit him with a pitch in the third. He's retired 13 of his last 14 Marlins hitters. And look at the pitch count. Very efficient. 74 pitches so far with one out in the sixth.
And we kept watching him, and I kept trying to think, who does he remind me of? And remember Roberto Hernandez, who was with us for a little bit, but back when he was with Cleveland especially, had a really good little two-seam sinker, nice little slider, and that little split that he's got, a little bit change-up like that. But he was effectively wild. I remember used to hate facing him, Joe. I know you had guys like that because you think he's going to put one right in your back, and then he paints one.
I like what we've seen so far.
Love it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Realmuto didn't chase. It's a full count. I think the status of JT Realmuto has been discussed a lot, but I think it's one that'll be fascinating to follow. Will he be a big part of the Marlins rebuilding effort, or will they move him to greener pastures and accelerate the process? As he takes ball 4, he's aboard for the second time and is 0 for 1.
I think this offseason will be the big one for him. I think the Marlins are probably going to try to say, let's work out a long-term deal. If we can't, we got to move on.
Well, if I'm JT Realmuto, you're talking about rebuilding. Tell me, include me in some of your plans. What are you trying to do? Who are you trying to trade for this offseason?
Derek Dietrich, the batter, he's walked, scored, and popped out. Well, if you think about where the Marlins were last year, they had Ozuna, they had Yelich, they had Stanton, and they had Justin Bour. All 4 of those guys are playing somewhere else. Realmuto is really the last man standing. Let's not forget D. Gordon. He's gone too. And Danny Echeverria, he's gone. 1 ball, no strikes. And that's in the dirt.
I'm sure in the next couple of years we'll begin to see, from the Marlins standpoint, they're hoping the fruits of those trades, where you start seeing some of the return they got. One of the disappointing things for them has been Lewis Brinson being hurt, well over half of what's been played so far. He was the #1 prospect for the Brewers that they got for Yelich. So that's been disappointing, and maybe we'll see some of those pitchers they've been picking up along the way also come through.
They also traded Brad Ziegler. They traded Cameron Maben. So it's a dramatically different looking Marlins ball club than the one we saw in the early days of this 2018 season. As that's a strike.
And you wonder how that's going to affect the pennant race as you come down, when that's the only thing that's tough about September sometimes is you want to have that lead and be in control, because you don't want to leave it up to other teams sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not playing, giving guys an opportunity to see what they can do at this level.
That's grounded toward Freeman at first. He'll fire to second for one. Charlie's return. Tukey got to the bag. It's a double play.
Man, oh man.
Wow.
A 3-6-1 double play. Freddie Freeman, one of the best in the business at starting that type of a twin killing. And Tukey is through 6 with a 2-run lead. It's Atlanta 3, Miami 1.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
The canned coolers are being put to good use in the Coors Light Chop House on this bright sunny afternoon in Atlanta. Braves lead game 1 3-1 on a perfect afternoon for baseball. Let's zoom in live from our Xfinity cam to the infield here at SunTrust Park, where the Braves are trying to win their 9th game in 12 played head-to-head with the Marlins this afternoon. Another game to follow tonight. Braves Live will be on the air at 7 o'clock. First pitch 7:35. Mike Fultonevich will pitch for the Braves, looking for his 10th win. And Mirandy Gonzalez will pitch for the Marlins.
Chip, I know one of the things you and Tom Glavine talked about Friday night was how the Braves needed to start playing better at home, playing better baseball. And man, have they ever in this the beginning of this homestand so far.
Yeah, it's an 11-game, 10-day homestand for the Braves. Atlanta 2-1 so far on it. Braves are 6 games over 500 at home. And it's not just playing at home, it's the timing of the schedule. While the Braves are playing the Marlins, the Nationals start a 4-game series in St. Louis. The Phillies are off today. Their next 2 games, however, are with the high-flying Boston Red Sox. So if Atlanta can take care of business in this series, there's a real good chance that they could open up more room between themselves and the Nationals and maybe take over first by themselves. As this one's hammered towards center field, a base hit for Camargo with a 2-strike count. He's thinking 2, stutter step, and he's going to slide in safely. The throw beat him, but he took an inside route and got in ahead of the tag. It's a second double for Camargo.
He was thinking double all the way.
Great hustle.
He's not the fastest Atlanta Brave, but I tell you what, you don't always have to be the best runner, the fastest runner, if you can cut the bases and take advantage of a knock where maybe the outfielder's not getting it in quick enough.
Well, and I think they'll talk to Sierra in center field because he took his time letting that ball bounce, backing up. That's something where you got to have a little bit of sense of urgency out there.
Great
especially
job
as a young kid.
Great job by Johan to recognize that.
So 19 doubles for Camargo, and Ender the batter. He has singled and he has struck out.
Talking about the schedule too, you know, we got the Rockies coming in for 4, and I'll tell you what, they're hot right now. They're coming on strong, especially in that West.
They've got some kind of offense, and their pitching's been real good too. After a very sluggish start with their rotation, those guys have come on in June and July. And Nolan Arenado, a sore shoulder. I believe they've got Houston next. He may DH, and he's expected back at third base in time for their series this weekend. Ground ball to first. That'll get the runner to third. Good out made by Ender Inciarte. Camargo 90 feet away.
Another effort to manufacture, Jeff. That was a good job by Ender.
That was a great job right there.
Well, Kurtz hit the ball hard twice. See if the baseball gods smile at him. Fly ball here could plate a 4th Atlanta run.
This is a good sign too. Back to the schedule, you're talking about who's playing home at the time. And when the Marlins come in after a tough series with Milwaukee, the last thing the Braves could afford is a letdown or take the Marlins for granted. They certainly haven't here in Game 1.
So the Freddie Freeman shift in reverse for Kurt Suzuki. They've got 3 defenders way in on the left side. For the Braves catcher. And Kurt gets hit. So first and third with 1 out.
He didn't want that. He wanted that RBI.
And one thing Kurt's so good at, obviously being a catcher, but he's thinking here, okay, they're putting 3 guys to the left right here, Joe. They're trying to run either a 2-seamer in, which that one hit him, or like the first pitch, spin something, get him out in front. Kurt's not dumb. He wasn't born yesterday. He knows what they're trying to do.
And that was the old triple play that got Suzuki on the left quad, Real Muto on the shoulder, and the home plate umpire Scott Berry right in the middle of the chest. And so meeting on the mound against Charlie Culberson's coming up. He's popped out, and he was intentionally walked. Speaking of quads, that's what cost Martin Prado the rest of this game. He left with a left quad strain. Hope it's not serious for Martin. And Miguel Rojas checked in for him at third base. So first and third, 1 out for the Braves. We're in the 6th inning. 3-1 your score. A few ticks past 3 o'clock Eastern time here at SunTrust Park. And a bouncing ball is foul at third. Strike 1. Braves bullpen is busy. Toussaint is in the on deck circle. And Lopez delivers. And Charlie got jammed. It's 0-2.
He's done a nice job, Lopez, with that 2-seamer running it in on guys.
He has, and I think you're seeing Tukey out there. I think if Charlie somehow leaves Camargo at third base, you're probably going to see a pinch hitter right here and try to get another run. I think if he hit a sac fly or gets him in somehow, you'll see Tukey hit.
Fly ball center. Sierra drifting back, still going back. It's over his head. It's off the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Suzuki on his way to third. He's going to stop Charlie Culberson with a run scoring double. It's 4-1 Braves.
Busted him in, bust him in.
And then leave it right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was thinking that right there.
No, that was not the plan.
He was trying to throw the 2-seamer.
Well, it's such a nice, short, quick swing by Charlie. And the ball jumps.
So that's going to be the last pitch thrown by Pablo Lopez. Don Mattingly's on his way out to get the ball from his young right-hander. But you know what? He pitched a pretty impressive ball game. A lot to like there for Miami, whose young right-hander got very little run support against Toussaint today. Stretch presented by Synovus, the Bank of Here. An unforgettable day for Toussaint, his big league debut. 6 innings of 1 run, 2 walk, 4 strikeout baseball. He enjoys a 4-1 lead as he'll be taken down for a pinch hitter. Adam Duvall will grab a bat against Javi Guerra.
Great debut for the kid.
Guerra versus Duvall. The pitch is downstairs. Ball 1.
And I think this is the right move. I mean, we would love to see Tukey throw another inning, go to 7, but the idea, if we get these 2 runs here, you kind of really separate this game.
Yes. And you want everything to be on a positive note. No reason to think that the 7th inning wouldn't be like the previous 6, but something to build on for the next one. Outstanding outing.
1 ball, no strikes. And fouled back. Well, this is what the Braves envisioned when they embarked upon this rebuilding program 3-4 years ago. Not just one-off players coming up through the system, but wave after sustainable wave of pitching and position players. And we are seeing that now. And when you look at this roster this year, Braves have had 12 different men start. They've had 10 different players debut. And Atlanta's had 4 of the 7 youngest starters in the major leagues start a game for them this season. Toussaint, Gohara, Allard, and Mike Soroka.
What comfort, too, for a guy like Toussaint who makes his major league debut, and yet he's surrounded by guys he's been playing with already this year in AAA. You know, he knows all these people.
And doesn't that, Jeff and Joe, go back to the Braves way? You guys played all together. When you got here in 2005, there were no surprises when the baby Braves, as they were called, got here.
No, and that's what I love is I think these guys are coming up now knowing they have to perform, expecting, and those guys down in the minor league system for us have got those guys knowing how to play when they come up. And I think we lost that for about 10. I know we lost it for about 10 years.
Yeah, I mentioned Dennis Llewellyn in AA, Derek Lewis at AAA.
Dan Meyer, who came up and pitched, you know, through the system. They know what to expect.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Duvall. The pitch is up and away. It's a full count.
Think about how fun, you know, a lot of times these young guys are coming up and pitching when you're 25 games out of the playoff race. And all of a sudden you're making your debut and you tied for the division lead on August 13th, man.
There you go.
What a blast.
Well, and let's take that point a little further. We're 2 weeks until rosters can expand in September. There's the 3-2 pitch. It bounced up there, and Duvall will walk, and that'll load him up with 1 out for Acuna, who's had a whale of a day. Arnold's had a big afternoon, a homer. He's created a run in the 5th inning, reaching on an error, and he's also walked. He's our Greatness Made Here feature presented by Synovus.
Again, the last 2 weeks, a lot of the Braves hitters have just put on remarkable displays. How about that OPS? Tremendous.
But my point about September, if Toussaint can pitch meaningful innings now, that would give Brian Snitker another weapon to use in September as the Braves try to chase down a playoff spot. 1 ball, no strikes. A Brave at every base. The pitch is hammered into left center field. A base hit. That's going to score 2 more. Duvall on his way to 3rd. The throw's headed to 3rd. And everybody's safe. Guerra's getting hit hard. Another big hit for Acuna. His 2nd of the day to go along with 3 RBIs. And boy, that was a screaming Mimi through the drawn-in infield.
Yeah, I don't want to be drawn in with Acuna up there either.
No, and right here,
exit velocity he's got.
That was one of those, you know what set that pitch up right there was him taking the first pitch slider. And now all of a sudden it's 1-0, bases loaded. He geared up for that heater and he did not miss it.
So the Braves have broken the game open. It's 6-1. All 6 runs so far belong to Lopez, whose line will look a lot uglier than the way he pitched, I think.
Agreed.
And the infield stays in for Ozzie Albies, who got pushed off the plate. So Toussaint on his way to a victory, it would appear, in his major league debut. He's the 3rd pitcher in Atlanta history with 6 innings, 2 or fewer hits in his first big league game. The last guy to do it was James Parr. Remember James?
I do, and I remember that outing
in 2008. So what a day for Toussaint. 1-2 pitch is smoked into center field. That's a hit. 1 run scores. Ron Washington's going to hold Acuna. The ball dropped. He's headed home. Sierra's throw overshoots the cutoff man, and Albies moves up 90 more feet. It's going to be a single, an E8, 1 RBI, and Guerra's getting hammered.
And that's something that'll drive Mattingly crazy right there, Joe. As an outfielder, you know, when you're charging the ball here, okay, you make an error, but now instead of throwing the ball to second base, you try to throw him out at home and you let Ozzie get all the way to second.
And lest we forget, Camargo took an extra base on Sierra to start this inning. You know what else Acuna did too? That ball was hit right back at the pitcher and he froze. I mean, that's why he was going to have to be held up at 3rd base until the bobble. He didn't just take off running where he might have run into a double play if it was caught. Good instincts again.
So the Braves have 5 runs in the 6th inning. They lead 8-1. And Freeman swings and misses. Remember, Freddie's got the 14-game hitting streak on the line in this game. He and Suzuki are the only Braves without hits at this point in the proceedings.
What's so big about this too is you're able now to save your back end bullpen guys for tonight if you need them, and you got your ace on the mound with your back end bullpen guys going.
Well, that's what was so big about yesterday's game for the Braves. Jackson went 2, Venters, Brock, and Minter went 1 each. As Joe said at the end of the game yesterday, Venters, Brock, and Minter didn't throw a lot of pitches, so you'd think they'd be okay today. But surviving yesterday's marathon game was hugely important, not to mention Gossman on Friday going 8. Braves bullpen should be in pretty good shape for, again, this 11-game, 10-day homestand here at SunTrust. Pride of Coral Springs Christian Academy in Coral Springs, Florida, and Haiti. Toussaint, a day he'll never forget. At least to this point, he enjoys an 8-1 advantage in his first big league game. And that's poked out of play. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, jammed him and fouled away.
That not break his bat
or his thumbs. Might be some bumblebees in that left hand. Check out this pitch.
And it's usually a pitch that's kind of up and in on you, not down.
Popped up. Long run.
That's trouble.
They're still chasing. It's going to be caught in left. And the throw back to second is in time to double up Albies. Ortega with a nice running catch, and Ozzie wandered too far off the bag to end the Atlanta 6th. But a very productive frame. The Braves score 5 and lead by 7. Seventh, it's the stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Toussaint, 6 innings of 1-run ball. Braves offense has come to play. 8 runs on 8 hits on a glorious afternoon for baseball. Atlanta's given up just 2 hits to Miami, and Jesse Biddle will hopefully pitch multiple innings here this afternoon. He'll start with Riddle, Galloway, and Sierra in the 7th.
Jesse had that rough outing against Milwaukee. Really just a kind of a blip on the screen, the way he's been pitching so great. I know there were a couple of miscues in there. One was an error charged to Jesse that allowed 3 runs to score against Milwaukee in the 8th inning a couple of days ago, but he has just been outstanding for the Braves. And to think that he was signed as a non-roster guy, what a pickup.
Yeah, it's the old proverbial bump in the road for Biddle.
I think Snit said it perfect after the game. He said, you know, we wouldn't be, some of these games we wouldn't have been where we are without him right now. So hopefully you come back, see him throw. What you want to see is him come throw well today. Put it behind him, have a good outing.
Last 30 appearances for Biddle. Opponents hitting $176 against him. 6 of those 30 games have been at least 2 innings.
And he's back to that slide step. How about that? No leg kick that he had gone to for a while that was very effective. There's a leg kick. Deke me again. Mixing it up.
Keeping everybody guessing. Even Chuck. Look at old Chuck.
He's done a great job with all these guys.
He has.
And the operative word is all.
And old, young, doesn't matter. In between, he's been able to help all of them have good years.
But, you know, there was a lot of talk after last year if he was the right guy to be the pitching coach here. And as I say, it's tough to judge somebody after 1 year. You know, he's getting to know these pitchers. He's getting to know what makes them tick, what kind of stuff they have. And you've seen him. He's come back and done a great job with the guys this year.
Been doing it a long time, a lot of major league experience, including the Marlins.
Well, in the glory days of the Braves, you remember you had the big three, and then you'd have Paul Byrd, you'd have John Burkett, you'd have Steve Avery. I mean, the rotation
Nagel,
was pretty much a mainstay core group of people, right? As that just missed outside. Riddle wins the Biddle-Riddle matchup and is aboard with a walk. Think about this. With Toussaint pitching today, he became the 32nd player to throw a pitch for the Braves this year. Only the Cubs have used more, and the 32 players pitched by Atlanta is the third highest total in franchise history. The 2015 team used 37, 2016 club used 35. And remember, those were rebuilding years. I don't know how many of those 35 or 36 players are still with the franchise, much less in rotation for Atlanta. Line drive to right. That's going to get down. So a walk and a hit greets Biddle here in the 7th inning. Galloway has 2 hits. He had 2 hits in his career coming into today's action. Good for him.
And no offense, you look at last year, some of the guys we were bringing up that were throwing. If you don't have the horses, I don't care who's coaching them.
You're so right. You know,
you have no chance.
I think a lot of times when you talk about even basketball coaches, they can be brilliant minds. They can do X's and O's, but if you don't have the players, what difference does it make?
No, exactly. You look at a guy like Toussaint today. Okay, that's a guy that has stuff. You can work with that. You can improve that. Some other guys you watch for the eye test and watch him pitch, Joe, and it's like, I don't care who's coaching him.
So Sierra with 2 on and nobody out in an 8-1 game, and that's line foul. That almost picked off Rivera, who is in the on deck circle. Paul, you have a thought on that?
Love this. I would add another thing too is makeup. You have to have a guy that when he gets in a jam, he bows his neck, he competes, and he makes the pitches.
Double play ball. There's one. There's a long throw to first, and the speed of Sierra beats the wrap there. They're at the corners with 1 out. Sorry, Paul.
And that's another thing that I'm not sure you can give a player, or you would give it to everybody. And so I'm not trying to make anybody look bad, but I see a lot of guys this year who have grown up or they've come up with tremendous makeup. Tookie being one of them. He was not overwhelmed with the upper deck. He was talking to everybody in the dugout. Guys were remarking about how relaxed he was. For the most part, this was a 2 or 3-1 game, and the Braves just reached first place. There's a lot on the line. He handled it well.
Rivera first and third for Biddle, who missed inside.
When he said makeup, I thought he was talking about Nick Green before the game today out on set.
Oh. Well, never know.
You don't.
Oh, good pitch. I have a feeling you're going to hear about that.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike.
No, but you could tell that what Birdie was talking about. You watch Touki in the dugout. He was relaxed, talking. And a lot of people are different. I've played with starters that they don't want to say a word to anybody on the day they pitch. And I've seen guys that they need that interaction.
Yeah, I always thought there's a difference between being focused on what you're doing and being so, having such blinders on that you're not aware of what's going on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed.
You know, everybody's got their routine. I remember when John used to pitch. Smoltzy, we'd have to watch Con Air every 5 days.
Really?
I know every word to that movie.
3-2 pitch is over the screen, foul.
Guess that got him going, whatever it did, but about 3/4 of the team would watch Con Air every 5 days.
Bouncing ball up the middle, right at the bag. There's 1, there's 2, and Biddle is back on the beam. He gives up a leadoff walk, but a double play sends us to the stretch with Atlanta in command of Game 1. Atlanta has the lead. The Braves will send Nick Markakis, Johan Camargo, and Ender Inciarte to the plate. Looking good here in Game 1. Marlins have made a whole bunch of changes. We'll get those to you as soon as we possibly can, as they have chased Lopez and Guerra here in Game 1. Guerra's given up a couple of runs. He's out after 2/3 of an inning, a walk, and 2 hits allowed in a very brief relief appearance today. So Nick Markakis will lead off. Nick has a double and a run scored, and a big swing and a miss. He comes up empty, strike 1. It's Harlan Garcia. Seen him before. He's in his 13th game in his career against the Braves, who've hit him hard. The pitch is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I remember in Washington, Chip, you were talking about that doubleheader up there and how difficult it is to sweep somebody these days in a doubleheader. And that is true. But one thing's for certain, we know you can't sweep if you don't win the first one.
I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah. So things are looking good so far.
Right. And Mike Foltynewicz pitches for the Braves in Game 2. Merandy Gonzalez will go for Miami. That'll be his first career start. He's made a couple of appearances out of the bullpen, where he's won 2 games, but with a high ERA. So Garcia gets Markakis to swing and miss. That's the first time Nick has struck out. And there's out number 1. So here are your defensive changes. Ortega moves to right. Galloway's in center. Dietrich is in left. Real Muto to first. Brian Holiday is behind the plate. everybody else where they started for Miami.
You got to wonder if Real Muto's thrown over there first with the thing of him maybe playing first base tonight, Joe.
That's a possibility.
Try to get him a couple innings there before tonight. I can see that happening. You know, they did that after what, first 2-3 years with Buster Posey. Trying to keep his bat on there in days when, you know, he's not catching.
Well, look, the bottom line for the Marlins is, and it's not surprising, we've talked about their pitching issues. A lot of the reasons for their pitchers' low number of wins is they can't score runs. They haven't done much of that in August, as Camargo didn't get it. The Marlins in 10 games this month as a team are hitting .201. They're averaging a little more than 2 runs a game. So, yeah, it makes sense. Find a way to keep Real Muto's bat in the lineup as often as they can to give him some chance to have a big blow at the plate.
Well, remember when the Braves went into Miami 10 days ago, just a brief 2-game series, they were playing well.
Yes.
They were playing solid, tight, good defensive baseball. They were getting good pitching. And as you said, runs were still hard to come by, but they were winning their share of games. All of a sudden, they've really hit a slow spot or dry spot where they can't get anything going.
Ender is the hitter and hits one towards second. That should be easy. And it is. Garcia with a 1-2-3 7th inning. It's Atlanta 8, Miami 1 in game 1. August 13th, 1963, Warren Spahn breaks Rube Waddell's record for career strikeouts by a left-hander, giving him a total of 2,382. Love that high leg kick. Think that would work in today's game, boys?
Why not? I love that picture.
I always wonder with that high leg kick how they were able to control the ball so well. I feel like you'd be crazy off balance.
Look how far you had to lean back to get that leg up. Looked like Lou Burdette next to him. Not sure if it was him in the picture.
Well, no high leg kick for Chad Sobotka, but high velocity. This guy came on and pitched great against Milwaukee. Mid to upper 90s fastball. And another weapon that really opened some eyes. Again, this time of year, if you show you have stuff, you have a chance to pitch. And a lot of guys are hopeful of pitching meaningful innings in September. Sobotka among that list for the Braves.
He's a big guy, 6'7". I think his nickname ought to be Chew.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, that was 50-50.
50-50. Come on.
That's inside the other night.
I'm trying to conserve energy.
I love the way this guy was driving to the plate. Boy, everything he had was going right at the dish.
And if you can paint and put it there at 96, hitters are going to be looking at the umpire and not be very happy. There's Brian Holiday. As a 1-1 count. All Braves 8-1, a 5-run 6th inning. Broke it open. Ronald Acuna has 3 runs, 3 RBIs. Freeman an RBI. Nick Markakis a double and a run. Camargo 2 doubles, an RBI and a run. Suzuki, Culberson, and Adam Duvall have scored. They're at the bottom of the lineup card. And look at that swing from Holiday. Just trying to stay alive, and he did. 1-2.
88-mile-an-hour changeup.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Yeah, swing and a miss. A real downer takes care of Holiday. Strikeout number 1. Wherever you are, at home or on the go, catch the Braves games live on the Fox Sports Go app. Just log in, select the game, and start streaming. Presented by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers.
Watch this pitch sink. A little slider.
Wow. Holiday's thinking, you're going to bring me in the 8th inning and I got to face that on an 8-1 game?
Yeah. Thanks, Don. As Ortega's the batter, he's grounded out 3 times. Ortega started in left field. He's now in right field after the defensive substitutions a half inning ago. Have a short rest between games, and we'll tee it up at 7:35 for game 2. Braves Live will get things started at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
95 at the bottom of the zone, 97 at the top of the zone. Guys, since the beginning of the season, when the Braves got off to a good start, we're playing well. Nobody knew what the rest of the season was going to hold for this team. But from day one, all my friends, all the fans I hear from, is how much fun this Braves team is to watch. Do you guys have the same?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not even close to me. If you think back the last 10 years or so, even a couple of those years we made the playoffs in 13, 11, just as far as the dynamic we have on the team, the speed, the excitement, new park. I'd love to see this place host a playoff game, man.
Me too.
This would be rocking.
I think what's exciting about it is the mix of players. You have veterans and a lot of youthful exuberance. But I agree with you, Joe. The thing that has been most exciting is the unexpected nature of this for the Braves. As this one's hammered towards center, Ender on the run is going to catch that. 2 outs. Not that the Braves themselves didn't think they could have a good year, but look, we've been talking about this rebuilding process and the incremental progress the team has made year upon year. I don't think anybody thought this club was going to be a 90 or 91 win team in spring training.
It's funny too, because you know the Phillies have, I don't know if they've exceeded expectations because they've had their pitching in place for a couple of years now, but they've also come back from the bottom.
Yeah, and they also spent some cheese this offseason.
They did.
They did.
And they're still spending.
Yeah.
But my point was that I talked to a lot of players, not players necessarily, but members of an organization that's not the Braves and Phillies, and almost 100% say, you know, we're pulling for you guys. We're pulling for the Braves. We're hoping you win the division and not someone else. That says a lot about how much they like watching the Braves play.
And how they go about their business, which is indeed spectacular in this day and age. Sapotko with a terrific 8th. 1, 2, 3, and out goes Miami.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
Screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. With Joe Simpson and the energy-conserving Jeff Francoeur, Chip Carey with you for Game 1. Game 2's coming up in about 3.5 hours. Still some work to be done in this one. Kurt Suzuki, our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature, leading off.
Doing some damage to the fish, too.
You know, we finished at the break talking about this team and how much fun they are. I was telling Snit today, I said, isn't it going to be great in another couple weeks when you get to sit on a meeting and start talking about the guys you're going to bring up in September to help your team win ball games?
Yeah.
And not, hey, how many guys are we bringing up to give them an opportunity?
Well, again, that's what makes it so exciting. And when anytime a team does what the Braves are doing this year in unexpected fashion in this part of the world, you think about the '91 club, the worst first Braves. Nobody expected that '91 team to do what they did and burst on the scene, but the baseball gods tapped him on the shoulder, and it was their turn, as it is for Suzuki. He's finally rewarded with a base hit to start the 8th inning. In an 8-1 Atlanta lead, it's the 9th Braves hit here in Game 1.
Maybe Kurt's trying to just throw him off and start going to right field.
That's what I was thinking. Did it again.
Although that ball that he just hit right there, where it was, there was absolutely zero chance to pull that ball.
So he's aboard in front of Charlie Culberson. Culberson has popped out, walked, doubled, scored, and driven in a run. So if I've got this right, every Braves regular has a hit in the game with the exception of Freddie Freeman, whose 14-game hitting streak is in jeopardy here in Game 1.
See, he's conserving energy too for tonight.
And then he can tell us tomorrow that it's a 15-day hitting streak.
There you go. There you go. Strike one to Charlie. Fly ball hammered center. Galloway going back. And he's going to get there on a hard hit ball. 1 out. And Sabatka is going to come to the plate. And before he does, we want to send a shout out to an old pal of ours who's watching the game and is going through a tough time with some physical issues. And that's our pal Mac Coney, who for so many years was our Delta Airlines flight representative. Mac has been a friend of ours for decades, and Mac just wants you all to know that all of your friends with the Braves are thinking about you and hope you get well soon. We're thinking about you, praying for you, and hope to see you at the ballpark real soon.
You bet, Mac.
Absolutely. Lugged around and played Augusta with Mac a long time ago.
Did you?
After the season, yeah, me, him, and Bill Akery.
Did you give him 5 strokes on the par 5s like you did Joe?
He didn't ask for as many as Joe. Mac's not that type of guy.
He would have thought of it.
Hey, Sabatka with a base hit.
He gives a point to the dugout.
Yeah.
Love this kid.
Did he point?
He did.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh, and he's clapping too. I love it.
That is awesome.
That's an awesome story. That's got to be a fine, doesn't it? You point in the dugout.
Fastball up, went the other way, and boys, check me out.
Maybe he's pointing to Sights. Maybe Sights gave him a scout report.
Could be.
Well, you see Sights tapping the top pad of that dugout railing.
I'll tell you what, if he throws 2 innings, gets a base not like that, probably not pitching the second game, go on and have a beer between games. He deserves one.
Celebrate.
Oh, wow. So the Braves have 10 hits. And Acuna is the batter, as Joe said. If this guy gets off to a good start in the game, a lot of special stuff is sure to follow, and that was the case so far this afternoon. Leadoff home run. He's now homered in 3 straight games. He's hit 9 homers out of the leadoff spot. He's scored 3 times. He's stolen a base. I mean, you talk about a dream day for your #1 hitter. Well, Ronald Acuna's had several of those, batting first for the Braves.
Sabatka, the first bullpen guy for us to get a knock this year, I wonder?
Jesse Biddle.
Biddle did. I remember he got a double too.
Yeah, in Philly.
That was his first at bat.
That was, yeah. Hit it over the left fielder's head, I think, right?
It was down the carved line. It down the line.
Yeah, right. And he got the win in that game, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you talk about a big day. First hit, first RBI.
Against the team that let him go.
Right. So 8 runs, 10 hits for the Braves. As Acuna digs in, crowd announced at 16,049 for the makeup game of the August 1st rainout. And that skips up there. Ball 2, strike 2 for Acuna.
And thinking back to, just very happy that Acuna didn't hurt himself after stumbling across first base earlier today. Back in the 5th inning. We had seen that before.
He's got that left sleeve pulled up. Pitch is outside, full count.
That's another Hanley Ramirez trait right there, pulling up the sleeve, trying to show the guns.
Well, he was watching Paul Byrd earlier in the broadcast.
That's exactly.
Birdie's got a tough assignment after this game. Who do you interview after this one? There are a lot of worthy stars of the game.
I think you got to go Ronald, especially if he does something right here. If he does something right here, it's a no doubt.
He might be able to get Ronald and Tukey, and then have Tukey be the interpreter.
Yeah, I don't know if Ronald speaks Paul. He was going to. That's upstairs, and Acuna draws a walk, and the Braves have the bases loaded with 1 out. Well, a rainout can't keep folk band Jason Isbell in the 400 unit away. The 4-time Grammy Award winners are here Saturday, the 18th of August. That's a makeup for their post-game concert, and that'll follow the Braves and the Rockies. The concert presented by SunTrust. Game tickets and field passes are still available. Log on to Braves.com and get them today.
Fozzie reaches. Freddie gets another crack at it.
There you go.
Providing it's not a double play ball, he'll get up there anyway.
And that's cut on and fouled away. No balls at a strike. Braves will have first place all by themselves with 3 more outs. Chance to make it a full game over the Phillies if they can sweep the doubleheader. The Phillies are idle today. And a high fly ball belted straight away center. Galloway back to the wall. Leaps. It's out of his glove. That'll score 1 run. And Galloway slammed into the center field fence. Couldn't hang on. Check your lower back. Another run is in. It's 9-1.
And more importantly, this might set the all-time record for the longest single in the history of baseball.
Isn't that true? Oh, that was crushed. Everybody had to wait with 1 out to see if it was going to be caught, and he almost caught
it. He had it in his glove till he hit the wall, Joe.
Sure did. Hope he's all right. So here's Freddie.
Chance to keep the streak alive. 9 runs, 11 hits for the Braves. The pitch is bounced foul. That's foul ball. Strike 1. That's a big change in the game as opposed to 40-50 years ago. The padding on the outfield walls, guys, you know better than anybody. How much padding is there really on a play like that?
There should be enough. I mean, as long as you're not running full tilt. Right,
yeah,
Jeff?
into center field, you're fine more that way. Now, if you go towards right over here and you kind of hit some of that brick, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pad's there, but I think it might hurt a little more. That gives a little bit in center field.
Center field wall gives.
But it's not Wrigley. There's no doubt about that.
No.
That ivy does not feel good. Does not protect you.
Foul back.
There were a lot of ballparks that I'm sure you played in too, Jeff. Even though you're a much younger man, but cinder block outfield walls.
They don't move.
They do not give. And the ball comes off there rapidly when you get too close on a ball off the wall.
So Galloway, a valiant effort, but couldn't hang on after he made contact with the fence. That gives Ozzie a 2 RBI day. Now Freddie has to protect. No balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch is grounded towards second. And the throw to second, one on to first is in time. It's double play. And Freddie's hit streak will come to a close in game one. But Atlanta has scored 9 times and leads big over Miami.
Break takes you to one of yesterday's stars. Chris Sale came right off the DL, was on a pitch count, and became just the 7th pitcher in history to strike out 12 in 5 innings or fewer. 5 of those strikeouts came on fastballs 99 mph or faster. The Red Sox went on to sweep the O's this weekend to move a ridiculous 50 games over 500, fellas.
And is he good?
Yes, he is. And the Red Sox are good, as that 50 over 500 record tells you. We'll see the Red Sox here in Atlanta September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Part of another long homestand for the Braves, which will feature Tampa Bay, the Cubs for a game, Pittsburgh, and Boston.
Other side of that, Baltimore is now 49 games under 500, and they're 49.5 out of first place and have an X next to their name. They've already been eliminated.
You know, it's got to be so tough for Buck up there too, because he's such a competitor. He's such a, just grinds it out, loves it. I can't imagine coming to the park every day right now at that.
It's tough, really tough. Got to do your job, got to be professional, got to try to do everything you can to win, and it's tough.
Well, for both the Orioles and Royals, both are playing 29 win percent baseball. That means they have 35 wins. They're on pace to struggle to get to 50 victories. So you're looking at 2 teams in the American League with a chance at 50 win, 112 loss years. Meanwhile, the Red Sox have a chance to fly by Seattle's record of 116 wins this year. As Real Muto is ahead 3 balls, no strikes.
And I think that's a scary thing when you talk about baseball and people talk about the way people are tanking and doing different things. There's too many good teams and too many bad teams right now. There's not that kind of middle, and that's the scary part for me. I don't like that.
Leadoff walk in the 9th inning. That brings up Derek Dietrich. Here's the greatest theme song in history as he makes his way to the plate. Dietrich is the lone Marlin to score. That came in the 2nd inning. A leadoff walk from Tukey, who then gave up a single and a double, and then retired the next 3 hitters in a row and put it in cruise control the rest of the way. He sent down 14 of his final 16 batters and was very impressive in his first major league game.
Players are like this too. Nice 2.5, 2 hour, 35-minute game for the first one.
Which is so refreshing because yesterday's game was an absolute marathon.
Was it?
Chase Anderson and Sean Newcomb were.
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the porch cooking a steak and watching the PGA.
I think we played like 3 innings in an hour and 45 minutes yesterday. But all's well that ends well.
Yep.
It was an entertaining game despite being out hit by 10 hits. The Braves won the game.
Nobody could do a day-night doubleheader like Adam LaRoche. He'd get in there right after the first game, fall asleep on the training table, and wake up about 8 minutes before game 2 pitch.
Is that right?
It's
Really?
unbelievable.
Really?
Oh.
Well, the last time the Braves were out hit by 10 or more hits and won the game, May 26, 1959, when Harvey Haddix flirted with a perfect game, gave up an unearned run, and lost 1-0 to the Milwaukee Braves. Fly ball center. Ender is there. He's got it. And Dietrich is retired. 1 on, 1 out. August college nights are going strong here at SunTrust Park. Up next is Vanderbilt, the University of Florida, Ole Miss, and Auburn. Then we round out the college nights program with the University of South Carolina September 3rd. Get your ticket and co-branded hat at braves.com/college nights.
I gotta be honest here. And my mom and dad love them. God bless them. They both went to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But why are we having a Vanderbilt night?
SEC.
Because of Dansby? Is that why?
No,
Well,
SEC.
it's SEC.
All the conference teams.
We've got ACC teams coming up. Clemson.
The Clemson we
Florida
already had.
State. Florida State. I mean, they
Oh,
do.
I get it, but I'm saying we're not doing every SEC team.
Yeah, we had Georgia. We had Ole Miss. So this is the.
I get it, but why Vandy? What I'm saying is you could have Arkansas. You could have Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Missouri.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
You know, that's probably a question for Beth Marshall. Maybe we can get an answer for you in between games. Hats are good looking too. Braves logo and your university's colors.
Football season right around the corner.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
It's great.
JT Riddle, the batter. He's ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike. And a swing and a miss.
JT Realmuto walked his last 2 times up today. Got hit by a pitch earlier. But he's walked his last 2 times up, and he only had 20 walks coming into this game for the season. I have a feeling he's going to walk a lot down the stretch.
That's exactly what happened to Justin Bohr, who I think was on a career pace for walks, because why pitch to him if you don't have to?
Yeah, well, that's all. With all due respect to Dietrich or Riddle or whoever's hitting behind Realmuto, it's just that teams are probably not going to give him much of a chance.
No.
2-2 pitch is outside, full count.
And I don't even know how much it is teams, Joe, as it is the guys pitching out there and the catchers. You know, I mean, they might go in and say, don't let this guy beat you. But all of a sudden, if you're pitching and you 2 out, okay, I'm not just going to feed this guy 2-0, 3-1 right down the middle. I'll put him on and get the next guy out.
Well, the acquisition of Bohr by the Phillies is really interesting in that they've got their first baseman, Carlos Santana, switch hitter, superior defender, really good player. Bohr is going to go from a starting role to a bench role, but with an eye toward a potential showdown in the final 2 weeks of the season. The Braves and Phillies play each other 7 times. As that missed inside, 2 on with 1 out. What a weapon the Phillies are going to have in Justin Bohr, coming off the bench or making a spot start against Atlanta, a team that he has hit very, very well historically and again this year.
And in their ballpark in Philadelphia.
That's an excellent point.
And I don't mind that, but I also at the same time would rather have him up there and face him maybe once a game.
Sure.
With the chance to walk him or do whatever we need to do than face him 7 more games what we're going to have to versus them. And you don't know how he's going to play in September. When all of a sudden he's not playing every day, does he lose that mojo?
Well, that's what I said yesterday, Jeff, is that all I know is that the Braves don't have to face him for the next 3 days in
I'm
4
fine
games.
with that.
Yeah.
And chances are, like you said, you may only have to face him 1 at bat in several of those games left.
Absolutely.
And with all due respect to Bohr, too, I would assume it's far different going from a Marlins club that's rebuilding into pennant fever Philadelphia and their rabid, knowledgeable baseball fans, where you will get 1 chance, maybe a game, to do something, and if you don't, they're going to let you hear it pretty quickly.
Well, and I got to imagine a guy like him who's still not fairly young, but fairly young in his career, probably wasn't thrilled about the idea of getting traded at this point. You know, Joe, I think that's something later in his career maybe, but he still wants to play.
Swing and a miss. Galloway stretches out his back, asks if it was a strike. It wasn't. And that's what Scott Berry said, and the Braves are an out away from securing a Game 1 win.
I understand what you're saying, Jeff, but whatever the age is of Bohr, I'm not sure how old he is, late 20s, early 30s, an opportunity to get into the postseason. You don't know how many opportunities you might get. You know you're not going to get one in Miami this year. 30 years old.
Yes.
Thanks, Chip.
Here's Anderson. He bats for Arlen Garcia, and a swing and a miss. Well, the reason for the trade was nothing against Justin Bohr. They needed a pitching prospect. They got a good one, they think, from the Phillies. And as Don Mattingly said in the Miami papers, their goal is to get more athletic, more interchangeable parts. And at this stage in Miami, Bohr is a first baseman who doesn't hit lefties particularly well. So we'll see how it works out for Bohr and the Marlins. Braves happy they don't have to face him, as Joe said. They lead 9-1 in Game 1, and a swing and a miss. Anderson a little late. And now Sabatka and the Braves are one strike away from giving Tukey his first big league win. We'll see Anderson, I'm sure, in Game 2. This guy has had a terrific year. He's in the Rookie of the Year conversation for the Marlins. Former third baseman playing the outfield after they traded their all-star trio. The pitch. And it's a full count. Sabatka's had the plate jump around on him here in the ninth.
And I like him. He's had a phenomenal year, but I'll tell you what, the way Ronald's playing right now, and with us being in a pennant race, I got to believe it's his to lose.
I don't disagree with that. And as I said a couple of days ago, I never thought he would be able, after missing so much time, to be able to play his way back into it.
And that missed outside. The bases are loaded thanks to 3 walks. So Anderson with nice at bat. Marlins are still alive, but down 8 runs.
We'll get a reminder from Mr. Suzuki that we only need 1 more out, and we have an 8-run lead. Let's throw it over the plate.
Our good friend Kelsey Wingert just texted us and reminded me that there's no LSU night. I didn't know they were a university.
Oh.
I'm just kidding, Kels.
Wow. Paul Bird's not going to like that.
It's too far from Atlanta.
Paul's shirt sleeves just went up another inch.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Neck is bowed, everything. Buttons are popping out of the collar. Look at him. He's getting flexed down there. No balls and a strike. Yadiel Rivera, the batter. He's 0 for 3. He's hitting to a double play. And now again, the Braves are a strike away. Rivera's had a interesting season in this regard. He's got a home run. His first home run came against Max Scherzer. He had a first home run in the big leagues. That's a great feather in your cap. You do anything against Max Scherzer, that is some kind of special. So the 0-2 pitch is on the way, and it's caught on and missed. Step on the plate, match ball game. Toussaint in the win column as a major leaguer in his first game. And the Braves take care of business, fellas, in Game 1 by a final score of 9-1. They're all by themselves now in first in the East, 1/2 game ahead of the Phillies, and they do it with 11 hits. Let's take a look at today's Coors Light refreshing finish. The homestand continues in good stead. The Braves are now 3-1 so far at SunTrust.
A lot of great things to talk about today, with the good offense at the top of the order with Acuna and the great major league debut of Toussaint.
You got a doubleheader. There's no better way to start it out than this.
As Joe said, can't win them both if you don't win the first one. And Atlanta, behind Ronald Acuna and others, did just that. Toussaint the winner, Pedro Lopez the loser. Atlanta wins at 9-1, and we'll talk about it in Braves Live, presented by Xfinity next.